lived here for a couple of years. I did my master's here in Hyderabad. I was listening to the speech yesterday by the Honorable Minister for IT, Government of Andhra Pradesh. He said, H is Hyderabad, B is biryani. For me, B is biryani, but H is Halim. And I think this is the right time to be in Hyderabad because this is Halim's time. Well, that's on the right note, but going ahead, I'm going to be talking about IT in health, the way ahead. We're talking about moving to version 3.0. What's 3.0 all about? Taking it forward from the Elite panel we had yesterday evening. Dr. Sood was there, Anand Padmanabhan was there, Dr. Sai was there. Version 1.0 is what probably was there before 2005, and that was the age of digitizing data. Version 2 is what we've been seeing for the last 6 to 8 years. And version 2 was all about continuous care. Today, we are at a situation where we're going forward from version 2.0 to 3.0. And what is 3.0 all about? I'm going to be talking about it in two parts. The first part is going to be pretty generic. This journey to 3.0 primarily encompasses a lot of activity which needs to be done by the provider. We're talking of optimization, optimizing resources, innovation. How do we change things for better? How do we make things work better? Controls, absolutely essential. On one side, you're supposed to be delivering a lot more to your patient. On the other side, you have your payers who are breathing down your neck. Boss, bring down your costs, right? You're under pressure, so you need to put in controls to make sure you're profitable. And lastly, you got to manage your entire business more efficiently, and all this would lead to better outcomes. Very big phrase, outcomes. What do we mean by outcomes? Or what do I perceive these outcomes to be? Well, this is something which I see every day, and this is absolutely fascinating for me. You put up your infrastructure, your integration framework, and then comes this pyramid. We're talking of basic applications, your EMRs, image management, records, forms, formats, and moving up to personalized healthcare. Delivering clinical and operational outcomes. Version 1.0 of healthcare IT was about this. It became better in 2.0, but then 3.0 is about collaborating, moving from illness to wellness, moving from preventive care to predictive care. And that's all about moving to 3.0. How do we do it? Building IT services today, it's no more the architect's job, it's no more the contractor, it's no more your facilities department who are going to be doing it. It's all about you. Strong and a robust medical grade network, smarter and greener buildings. The amount of efficiencies you can bring in with your facility equipment, air cons, chillers, UPS systems, they're all intelligent today. Integrate them, manage them better. Reduce on your operational expenses. Put in access control. Put in infrastructure which is going to make things better for the people who work with you. Bring in things like pneumatic tubes, which are becoming very, very common today. And end of the day, it's all about bringing this into a common command console. All your devices today are IP protocol enabled. If I can sit in one place and manage my compute infrastructure globally, why cannot I manage all my other infrastructure. It's not about just the infrastructure. Today, the patient's hardwired to all sort of equipment in the ICUs and in the wards and everywhere. Bring this to the patient. Today, sitting on a single command console, I can manage my patient's remote, and that's what Dr. Sai spoke about yesterday. Make it possible. It is happening. On the delivery layer, you must have the IT infrastructure which is green, which is intelligent. I mean, all these are to be done. It has to be there. You don't have a choice today if you have to be competitive. Integrated HIS, integrated building management systems, payer integration. Yes, you have to be there. You have to do it. You don't have a choice. Services. Mobility, again a very large thing, but then today, mobility is predominantly reduced to, typically the doctors majorly using it for posting on Facebook, their emails, and things like that. How much of this is actually being used for patient care? Very limited. Email and SMS gateway, everybody does it. Everybody have been doing it for years. But how can I make it more predictive? Let's say it has to be context-based. If I can send out an SMS saying that the patient had 100 degrees fever, it's very different for two different patients. Patient one being in a normal room, the care plan for him is different. But the same 100-degree fever for somebody in the ICU needs a very different care plan. So how do I make it context-driven SMS, context-driven email integration, which is going to help my clinicians at the point of care to take better decisions? Now, this is being predictive about it. Patient self-services. We spoke about mobility today. Patient keeps downloading. He says, I want my this report, I want the lab report, I want to have my patient advice downloaded onto my smartphone. Go a step forward, extend it. Look at him using the same app from the time he's discharged from your facility. Give him things which are so simple that every time he takes his diabetic medication, it just goes, enables the radio button, and pop, it hits your server, it hits your database, and the records are getting updated. So which means today you're talking of self-services which are bidirectional and not just unidirectional. Extend patient care for episode of care. Today, the patient life cycle is no longer restricted from the time the patient comes into the facility till the time he's discharged. You are able to monitor the patient from the time you have the ambulance which has picked him up. He arrives at your emergency room where the treating doctors are already aware of his clinical condition. So there is a level 1 care plan which has already been prepared for the patient. You are ready to welcome him. That's on one side. On the other side, the moment he is discharged from the facility, extend it beyond that. Go to his home. Be there where he needs you. Gone are those days where he would come to you. You need to be there because your patient is there. So that is what I mean by episode of care which is end to end, and you manage them. Automate the non-core processes because the non-core processes are important, and that's where I see that most of the hospitals lose a lot of money. You don't manage your linen properly. Your housekeeping and support staff are not trained properly. They don't use systems and processes. F&B, clinical nutrition, is very, very important. But how much of you have put emphasis on building a solid, robust system to handle that data as a part of your integrated HIS? Very limited. right? MIS and dashboards, everybody does it. What's the big deal there? Okay. The deal here is, today if you go to a stock portal and you want to trade there online, not only do you get the dashboard, but it also tells you the 3 most important things what you should probably be doing. If I can give the dashboard to the clinician and also tell him, look, this is how the trends are, this is how the pattern is, and this could probably be the problem with your patient. Makes sense to him. Decisions at the point of care become faster, right? That is a meaningful dashboard. NABH and JCI compliance today, most of the part is done on Excel, run macros, but then you have put in a lot of money on your system. Capture data from the system and make it available on the fly. I don't need a 30-member team in the hospital today just managing my NABH compliance. What a waste of money, right? Online approval processes and meaningful use of this dashboard is most important. Last part, which is something which is again pretty close to my heart and I keep talking about it, is the ABC analysis. Right? What do I mean by ABC analysis? It's activity-based costing. Take an example where you have costed your procedure at 2 lakhs including the OT. You had said that I'm going to need 2 doctors and 2 anesthetists and a set of 4 nurses to execute that particular procedure. But then, hey, there was an emergency and you had to call in 2 more doctors and 3 more nurses. Well, did you cost for it? You have not. So which means on every single transaction, you really don't know whether you are making money or you're not making money. Get down to the granular level. Get your costing in place. You may not charge your patient, but at least I, as somebody who is running the hospital, know very clearly whether I made money, I did not make money. If I made money, was it 3%? Was it 20%? I don't know. So these are very, very important things going forward because, as I said, you are under pressure on your costing. And this primarily, keeps showing you the gap on the pyramid as to where you need to be. Integration, SIMS, MIMS, codification, ICD-10. SIMS, MIMS integration is pretty simple, but then it gives all that power at point of care to take decisions. Make it happen, right? Smart rooms, integrate your medical equipment. Take the patient data back to his vault. Let the patient have ownership of his data and not the hospital, not the provider. And we live in an ecosystem where today I go to Max and tomorrow I go to Fortis and then day after tomorrow I go to a local nursing home. But then I have 3 medical records created, 3 unique identifiers created in every hospital. And then every time I lug 2 files to tell my next doctor what's my clinical status. But then it's very simple to move it to a vault where I own and I access my data irrespective of whoever doctor, whichever hospital I'm going to. Right? BI and analytics, clinical decision support systems, surveillance and registers, analytics, your sales and marketing support. Today, I've seen a lot of hospitals who've put in the best of systems, but end of the day, they have a CRM running outside the ecosystem. Big deal. What's it all about? Bring it in. Interconnect. Give them the power. You're running a, you're doing a camp outside the hospital. Give them data upfront on what is the demographic details of this set of people whom you're going to be addressing. Go equipped to your patient. Don't go there and be in for surprises. Patient relationship management, very important. Though it was not done, we should be doing it today. I'm a borderline diabetic, so the first question the doctor asked me was, your dad a diabetic? Mom? Anybody else in the family? Let's put in that mechanism today where the family tree and the hierarchy gets interconnected, so that tomorrow we have a better and a predictive model to say, my clinical condition was an outcome of this, this, this.
Can you close that? Right.
Yep. Benefits, efficiencies, outcomes, customer experience, asset utilization, reduced losses, low energy costs, improved TCOs. This may not be the standard mantra for every provider, but then depends on how broad and how deep do you want to automate, based on which you have your ROIs and TCO. That's the pyramid. We're back there. And if you need to achieve outcomes, probably these are the steps we should be taking to do that. Quickly on part 2, it's about the product I'm associated with, which we've been building as the version 3 product called the Magic Care. The architecture including Vault integration, everything is available there. We could demo it on the fly anytime. A very strong and a robust activity-based costing model available. BI reports inbuilt BI. You don't have to go outside the platform. It's all there in one single piece of software. Right from budgeting to your P&L. We could discuss more on this, but then I need to make way for my last colleague, so I'll take questions on after this, and I'm available throughout the day to handle questions. Thank you very much.